Hello, and welcome to ECEAP Operating Budget How-To, completing your 2016-17 operating budget. My name is Kelsey Schaefer, and I'm the Program Planning and Operations Specialist here at the Department of Early Learning. And I'm just going to take you through today how to fill out your operating budget. So a few questions I want to discuss during our time together is, when is the operating budget due? Where can I find the new 2016-17 operating budget, how to fill it out, and who to send it to? So the first question is, when is the operating budget due? The operating budget for this year is due on September 30th. In years past, it has typically been due on September 15th, but because it's a new template, we wanted to give contractors a little bit more time to fill it out. So where can I find the new 2016-17 operating budget? So you are going to go to, you're going to go to the Department of Early Learning's website. You're going to click on ECEAP. You're going to scroll down to where it says fiscal, and your new operating budget. I'm just going to open it, but typically you would save as so that you can start work on it. So this is what the new operating budget looks like for this year. Okay, so now I want to go over a couple just general guidelines about the operating budget. And you'll be able to find these actually in the spreadsheet of the operating budget. There's 3 tabs. And so one tab has instructions and directions. The second tab is the actual template for the operating budget, and the third tab is slot hours or slot counts and hours of instruction. So there are 6 categories on this year's operating budget. You just want to make sure that you're looking at the gold-colored cells on the budget. These are the cells that require input from the contractor. The white cells have formulas that are used for analysis, and if you would accidentally delete one of them, it would kind of throw off the rest of the formula in the budget. So if that should happen, I would just click your undo button so that you can keep the formula in the white cell. Also listed in the spreadsheet are some definitions and instructions. And so it's going to give you definitions for instructional staff, other direct services staff, food service staff, child transportation staff, building grounds and maintenance and janitorial services, and admin and operations. So now that we've kind of gone over what is some general guidelines and where to find some instructions, we're going to go into how to fill it out. And so what I've done is I've taken an operating budget and I've done a sample operating budget. And so something to keep in mind is that I think operating budgets in general for our contractors are going to look different across the board depending upon if you just have program at your contractor office, and maybe you have a contract office and then you have direct service, and maybe you just have one, so you would just fill in one of these columns. But you might have subcontractors, so you would need to be also filling in the sections for admin and program under your subcontracted sections as well. So they're going to look different for everybody, I think. Just to go over some different areas of the operating budget and some important parts to make sure that you get filled in first. So we, of course, want your contractor name right here in this cell. And the next really important thing to fill out is your ECEAP contract award amount. Because this cell is referenced in various other cells within the document, and in order for the budget to balance, we need to have the correct amount in this orange cell. So you're going to see that the budget this year has 6 different categories. It has staff salary, employment taxes and benefits. It has contracted services performed on behalf or in lieu of in-house staff. It has equipment, supplies, and materials. It has travel expense, excluding child transportation, mortgage, lease, utilities, and insurance expense, and then your indirect costs. And so the way that to start off with my staff salaries. So I started out with Section A. And so it would be really handy if you kind of took a look at the budget and all of the things that you needed and kind of collected them beforehand so that you're not looking around while you're in the midst of, trying to do it. It makes it a little bit easier and maybe less stressful if you have all of your information gathered beforehand. So what I did was I looked at how much I have in my program staff, how much I pay them, my instructional staff, and I just did the same thing down the line for instructional staff, direct services staff, child transportation staff, and food service staff. And what you'll see is as you fill it out, the white cell will begin to roll up your totals at the top of each column. And so I just went down also for the administrative part of the contractor office and did the same thing. And so I just kind of went down the line and put in data that I knew for each particular section. And then I did have, in Kelsey's childcare, I had some instructional staff that worked at direct services, and then I also had some staff who worked at, I also had some subcontractors, and just put their salaries in over here. A new column for this year, and one that I think is particularly helpful in getting a clearer picture of what it takes to provide ECEAP services, is this other funding column. And so what this would be useful for is you either have your ECEAP program and you are using your contracted money that you get from the Department of Early Learning, but you're also using another source of income to support that program. So it might be a subsidy, it might be an in-kind payment, maybe you're receiving some support from the school district that you're in for grounds and maintenance, or maybe janitorial services. So that is where we would want to see those totals in this other funding column. Okay, so then after you've completed after you've put in everything that you need to and you've completed the budget, you're going to see down here at the bottom indicative rate is. And so you can see this one was 14.2 for my Kelsey's childcare. Like I said, they're going to look different. There's going to be, maybe some more questions, more specific questions. But I really do encourage you to send those either to your pre-K specialist or the ECEAP inbox, because, it's really, we're here to support you through this process. So now that you've submitted your form, or you finished your form, now you want to submit it via email to the ECEAP inbox. And don't forget to CC your pre-K specialist so that they know that it's been received. And like I said, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact the inbox or your specialist, and we'll get you the answers that you need. So thank you so much for joining me for my webinar today. I hope the rest of your day is wonderful. Thanks so much.